Hello, my darlings, and welcome to episode 11 of the Uncomplicated Perimenopause Podcast. I'm Kate Grosvenor. I'm a perimenopause expert and life coach.
I'm Gabriella Grosvenor, Kate's daughter, here to learn with you all.
So, my gorgeous Gabriella, what have the listeners been asking me today?
Well, this question has been asked in our perimenopause group.
Love that from one of the members, yeah.
From Kendra, who's from Paris.
Ooh la la. We love Paris, don't we?
We do love Paris. I love Paris.
It has a special place in our heart.
Honestly, I do. And Emily in Paris is out.
Yes.
Watched it?
Yes. So as we're recording this, it's the new season 3.
Four. I think 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So the new season's out, and we're planning to binge watch it, aren't we?
Tonight.
We're not that kind of spread it out type chicks, are we? That sounds really rude. I just realised that sounds like really, but at least I said it that way, and not the kind of.
But Netflix mess us up because of half the season being that. No, we're not those people.
No, we kind of binge watch. We make plans, but to be fair, we're very loyal to each other as well.
Yes, we don't cheat on.
We don't cheat on each other.
Made in Chelsea.
No, we don't watch a lot of shows together.
Yeah,
but there's
our
guilty
shows.
Pleasures. Emily in Paris, Bridgerton, Made in Chelsea. We guilty pleasures.
Sorry, we got a little bit excited about
Yes.
Paris.
So let's go back to the podcast. Rude.
So, Kendra.
Yes, sorry.
It's not necessarily a question, it's just something she'd like us to talk about.
Okay, cool.
So, Kendra would like us to talk about digestive problems and nausea during the perimenopause.
Good one. Actually, do you know what? This has a special place in my heart and in my tummy. No, this has
That was funny.
So, special place in my heart. So, nausea for me, I suffered from it terribly in pregnancy, but nausea in perimenopause was my red herring for the doctors because, again, I'm not knocking the NHS, I'm not knocking the GPs that tried to help me, but nausea for me, I suffered from terribly about, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years ago. So when I was really kind of mid-perimenopause, so I'd gone through the early stages of perimenopause and the kind of things don't feel quite right and my symptoms started. When I was going into the kind of I need help and I don't know what's wrong stage, so kind of mid perimenopause.
Yeah.
Nausea was the one that I struggled with the most because that's when my quality of life started really falling apart.
Okay.
And I started getting tested for the gazillion things that they started testing me for. I couldn't cope with nausea. Now, not everyone gets it.
What is the nausea like? Pregnancy nausea? Is it like
it's like morning sickness?
Yeah.
But it doesn't just happen in the morning. But it's one of those things where you just feel like I can't lift my head up, and you feel really grim. It's not nausea like food poisoning or nausea like hangover. It's a very hormonal feeling of nausea.
So like when you throw up when you're on your period kind of vibes?
You say that, but you've got endometriosis. 99% of the women in this world will not throw up when they're on the period. So for those of you who go and say, what now? Gabby has, unfortunately, bless her heart, endometriosis. So throwing up on a period is quite normal for you. Most women,
it's quite normal.
No, women don't normally do that, darling. That's just, bless your heart, a you thing and your fellow endo warriors and some fibro warriors as well, bless them. Yeah, it's a very hormonal based nausea, so it kind of just makes you feel it's not like you have nausea where you have cramping and then nausea. It's literally from kind of here upwards. It's not a digestive type of nausea. So I'm really glad you asked this problem. Is it Kendra, did you say? Yeah, Kendra, because this is something that I literally suffered from. So there's so many different reasons that it could be for. Perimenopause is one of those things where when people say, why does it happen? There's some things we know exactly, like, say, for example, why does your skin itch and why is your skin dry in perimenopause? We know estrogen leaving your body means that you have less collagen produced, therefore your skin dries out, therefore the solution is to take collagen. Shameless plug for our perimenopause collagen, link in the show notes. But we know that this is the reason, this is the solution, happy days. That's fabulous, but that is the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
There things like nausea have a lot of potential causes. So nausea is not the nausea is the result, but it's not the symptom.
Oh.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
So it's like that's it's not the cause of the problem, it's the result of the symptom. So I'm not going to talk much about digestive issues, because digestive issues in perimenopause, I could talk for about, I'm going to say probably about 10, 11 hours.
And we've got
half an hour.
Yeah.
Right. So what I will do is address the nausea side of the digestive problems, because there's so many potential root causes.
That's quite good, actually, the fact that it's not the symptom and it's the result.
Yeah. Well, the thing about nausea is nausea is one of those reactions that your body tells you something's off. Like a headache is not the problem, it's something off in your body. So you're dehydrated, or you have a neuralgic problem, or you're hungover, or you're hormonal. Nausea is the same. Your body's telling you have a problem, and the answer is like, no shit, Sherlock, I know that. So first and foremost, as always, it could be hormonal. So estrogen and progesterone, as we know, leave the body. Estrogen fluctuates significantly, we know that. So estrogen can affect the digestive system, and fluctuations in particular in estrogen in the digestive system can lead to symptoms like nausea. Estrogen fluctuating can produce stomach acid, and the speed of which food moves through your digestive tract, and the estrogen fluctuations and all messing around with that can lead to just feelings of nausea. So it's just to do with your stomach tract, digestive tract, and the acid that's produced and not being consistent. That in itself can be a nauseous thing. Stress and anxiety. Have you ever been really, really stressed and felt quite nauseous? You know, like when you've got exams coming up, or a boyfriend is messing you around, or
every exam. I'd throw it beforehand.
Okay. What do we know about perimenopause?
Everything now, I think. I know everything about it.
All right. What do we know about when you haven't had sleep? Do you feel nauseous ever?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What about mood swings?
They're real.
Okay.
I'm not even in the perimenopause, and they're real.
Okay, so when you've been really moody, so if you've got PMT, you can feel nauseous. When you get stressed, you can feel nauseous. When you're really anxious, you can feel nauseous. So just the mental health side of perimenopause can make you feel nauseous. So all of these things can be triggered. So nausea can be triggered by stress, nausea can be triggered by anxiety, nausea can be triggered by mood swings, nausea can be triggered. All of these things can make nausea more likely.
I've got a question, and it's not, I don't want to sound, with nausea, is that just the feeling of wanting to be sick, or is it the actual I'm throwing up?
No, it's the feeling.
Okay, so it's just the feeling.
Yeah.
Of it, okay.
It's not, it's I mean, if you want to be ill, your body will start, your stomach will be doing something different. Nausea is just this feeling of...
Yeah, because that's even worse, really, when you feel like something needs to come out, and it's not. That's even worse.
Yeah, because actually, if you were nauseous and then you threw up, the nausea would go away.
Yeah.
That's the point. But this isn't a... The thing about nausea, hormonal nausea, is it's not when you're, if it was, for example, food poisoning, you're given the nausea and then you throw it up because your body is getting rid of toxic food or poisonous food or bacteria in the stomach. Your body needs to get it out. This is why, on a side note, I object to Imodium, because if people had food poisoning and they take Imodium, it stops you expelling the poison. Well, Imodium is anti-diarrhea. So Imodium, when we lived in the Middle East, you and I, Egypt, where we used to live, is the food poison capital of the world. Pharaoh's Revenge, whatever you want to call it. Good. Well, in India they call it Delhi belly.
No.
Okay. Oh, anyway, every hot country, because food poisoning is really, really difficult in hot countries. Yeah. Every different hot country has their own version of Delhi belly, Pharaoh's Revenge. I
felt the Pharaoh's Revenge last time I was there.
Yeah. Okay. So,
that's so good.
But so the point is, in hot countries, they will give you things to help you cleanse the bowel, to get it out of your system, because they understand that if it's food that's caused it, it's a bacteria you need to cleanse and get it away. What typically happens in other countries is they give you something to stop the diarrhea, but that's going to keep all the poisonous stuff inside you, all the toxic stuff, all the bacteria stuff. So anyway, digress.
Better out than in.
Better out than in. But nausea is just the feeling of not being okay. So if it's hormonal, it's not that you have to get rid of anything.
Makes a lot of sense, actually, especially the mental health part. Yeah.
So that's another one. So another one is, because honestly, there's so many in perimenopause. Another one is changes in blood sugar. So hormonal changes can affect how the body manages blood sugar, if for want of a better term. So fluctuations in blood sugar can lead to dizziness, lightheadedness, and those things can make you feel like you're going to get nauseous. So this is why I talk a lot about in perimenopause, because I get asked, how many times a day do I ask the question about supplements?
Oh, yeah. Probably more than anything else, I'd say.
Supplements, and then after supplements, I get asked about fasting and how do I lose weight. So those are big questions that we get asked multiple times a day, and I'm always happy to answer them. I am, which is why we have, we talk a lot about supplements, and we have our own ranges of supplements and stuff coming out. Oh, spoiler alert.
Big news. Oops.
Oopsies. So the point in perimenopause is fasting does not suit us, and it does not suit us for so many different reasons. One being insulin resistance, one being when we talk about things like histamine intolerance and cortisol levels and all these different things we've got going on, because our body's really working hard in perimenopause. But also in terms of blood sugar, when because of this insulin resistance and because of all this hormonal stuff going on, our body is just really having a hard time. And when we skip meals in perimenopause, or we're doing this intermittent fasting, we just end up in this dizziness, lightheadedness, and it really, our body will react with nausea quite quickly, because we just don't have that center, that groundedness that we would have had perimenopause. Okay. Another one, sleep disturbances.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. So many women. I mean, I had for those of you who just, I'm very honest. I had insomnia last night. Yeah.
You have insomnia on a lot of nights.
It's not I go through periods of just like, if it's really hot, if it's really muggy. Obviously I wear bamboo pajamas, I'm a big fan. So it's not a temperature thing for me. It can be a pressure. So I have neuralgia, as you know, and some of you will know. I have a neuralgia disease condition, and when it's very muggy, I can get pressure in my temporal regions, and it makes sleep really difficult when it's muggy, because when the atmosphere tends to be quite, I don't know, in Yorkshire we say it's quite close. It's close. It kind of feels very oppressive. It creates this pressure in my head, and it is very difficult to sleep. And so many women can find insomnia a companion. And again,
I've seen a lot of people mention it, yeah.
But it's again why I'm looking at, I'm one of those people, as you know, who, I had a client actually ask me about this yesterday, because I'm creating a supplement, again, spoiler alert.
Yeah, no, we need this is a big moment.
Yeah, but I'm creating, with the help of a beautiful woman, something especially for women who need help sleeping and calming down at night time, and women like me who may have a sweet tooth. I don't know, all those women say if you're listening at home, you have a sweet tooth, but you also haven't, maybe you need help feeling calmer and more relaxed in the evenings. Raise your hand and say I. And I'm creating it because I'm always of the belief where if I feel like that, maybe you do too. Yeah. I'm my own guinea pig, as you know. And we're at the process now of sourcing beautiful organic ingredients and testing. So yeah, you know me. And when my client said to me yesterday, Elise, a big shout out to you, darling, if you're listening. And she said to me, how do you have the time to do all this? And I said to her, tell me to stop. And she said, what do you mean? And I said, well, if you look at, for example, the reviews on my website about my coaching, who women say, you've changed my life, you've saved me, you've saved my marriage. We had a review the other day about the podcast, about the one about relationships, and somebody says, you've saved my marriage.
Oh, it brought me to tears, that comment when I read it.
It's so cute, right? And then I get, you help me with my inbox and forwarding important messages to me. And I literally have the best job in the world, because I get messages every day saying, you've changed my life, you've saved my life, you've altered my life, I couldn't have done this without you. So I think I have the best job in the world when it comes to coaching and stuff. And then even, on the lifestyle brand, I have reviews of the collagen saying, now I've been taking the collagen for a few weeks, I can now walk. I haven't been able to walk, and now I can walk. 3 weeks of taking the collagen, I can now walk, and I've not been able to do that. Like the pressure's not on my knees anymore after 3 weeks, and I feel so much better. It's my magic. I think one woman said it's my magic potion.
Oh,
I know,
That's lovely.
so Zan, bless her, so cute.
And
yeah,
we like her.
So we love her. She's adorable. And then I said to her, so bear that in mind and then tell me to stop. And she went, I can't. I said, well, this is, so there you go. So I just said, so this is why I do what I do. And I always feel like if I know it helps me, it'll help millions of women, potentially. So she was like, oh, yeah, I get it. So that's the thing. In perimenopause, insomnia is inevitable in many, many ways. Not everybody. It could be once in a blue moon. It could be something that plagues you. And like nausea, not every woman will have it, but if you have it, you're prone to it. So you have to understand the causes of it, because again, it's not the root, it's the result.
I wonder how many people actually know this.
Again, it's getting the information out there, isn't it? That's why this is why we do what we do. So insomnia is a big cause of nausea, because it causes stress. To basically, poor sleep leads to fatigue. And fatigue will always cause stress to digestive issues, to anything else that's going on in your life, whether it's mental health issues, whether it's digestive issues, whether it's neuralgia, whether it's endometriosis, whatever else is going on in your body. If you think of lack of sleep, just almost stretches your body and will kind of put infinite stress on that thing that you've already got. And what else? Medications.
Yeah.
So I think HRT, I think, is fabulous for me and for some women. It doesn't suit everybody. And you have to, when you start taking HRT, I think you have to be willing to say, going into HRT saying, I am going to give it a go and I'm willing to try a few different combinations. Because I started taking HRT, and as you know, I said to you quite honestly, I have the Mirena coil, which you also have for different reasons. And then they gave me a tablet for my estrogen and it gave me nausea. Quite simple. I got nausea, really bad nausea from the first tablet she gave me, and I had to go straight back to her and go, listen, this is making me feel really unwell.
And then they gave you...
And then I have the patch, and I'm absolutely great.
So it's just trial and error.
Trial and error.
For you,
so HRT in perimenopause could make you feel nauseous. So you have to be willing to go, okay, well, I'll try this and I'll try this.
Yeah, but not all of HRT. It could be the form that you were given.
No. And this is the thing. So some women go, it doesn't suit me.
Yeah.
Okay, please try something else. Don't give up.
Yeah.
All right? So it could just be the
worth
one.
a try.
Absolutely. Another one.
Another one?
Yet another one. Migraines.
So that's if just you're prone to it.
If you're prone to it, and obviously, again, lack of fluctuating hormones, lack of estrogen. Estrogen, we know, is an anti-inflammatory in the body. So if you're prone to migraines and your migraines exacerbated some, swelling, or you have sinus problems or something, and lack of estrogen will make that more intense. So hormonal changes can often trigger a migraine. Migraines make you nauseous.
Are they hereditary as well? Migraines can be like getting prone to them.
They run in families, but whether that's a lifestyle thing, whether it's a diet thing.
You suffer from migraines, don't you?
I used to.
Because I'm not that kind of person.
No, I used to, but I think it was being a head teacher.
Yeah. Maybe heat as well.
Yeah, I don't get them. I mean, it was my life, I think.
Yeah.
I wasn't the happiest little bunny in the field.
Oh, that's kind of cute. Sorry. But the way you put that was kind of cute.
Yeah. Life was a bit hard.
No, that makes sense.
I mean, now I have neuralgia, so they're not migraines.
That's something else. Yeah.
It hurts. And vestibular changes. I'm sorry. Say what now? Your vestibular balance is to do with your inner ear. Okay. So inside your inner ear, you have like a water level. Have you ever seen blokes and women? I'm not judging.
Blokes.
See? Spanish versus Yorkshire. Or Italian. That would be a strange mix. So, by the way, we both are from Yorkshire, and we had this conversation this morning. We both live in Yorkshire, so we're not remotely taking the piss.
And I'm very proud.
So this is where we're having this conversation today, because Gabby said, but you're from Yorkshire. And I was like, Gabby found out today that I actually spent the first few years of my life in Exeter.
How did I not know this? I knew you weren't born in Sheffield.
Yes.
I knew you were born in York.
Yes.
And I thought...
At 6 weeks old, literally 6 weeks old, I moved to Exeter.
I genuinely thought you were born there. I'd consider myself Yorkshire. I'm very proud. Yorkshire and Egyptian. It's no in between.
Fair enough. So anyway, back to the inner ear. So you have like this kind of water balance in your inner ear. So when you see, do you know what a spirit level is?
No.
So when
blokes
or people, women, anybody who's DIY minded, which is not me. I sent Gabby this really funny TikTok video the other day. So I love to pretend. Well, no, I am a strong, independent woman, but I have no sense of measurements, directions, balance.
No, we all bit girl math with that.
Neither of us. So I try and pretend that I could put a shelf up. But I am the kind of person who genuinely couldn't put a nail into a wall, because I don't have measurements. So I could play any musical instrument you give me, but I can't put a nail into a wall. And I'm ADHD as well.
God is fair.
So this is what Gabby keeps telling me. God is fair, because, I said the other day, I said to Gabby, I can't paint nails. I'm really bad at painting nails. And she went, well, that's fair.
Yeah, you can do makeup and hair. You might not be able to do nails.
This is what I said. So she went, well, God's fair, because you're great at makeup. And I was like, oh, okay. And to be fair, I was like, fair play. All right,
it's fine. A good response when you start to think of it like that.
She's like, you've always been good at makeup. So I was like, oh, okay, all right, fair play. Yeah, I get that. But I'd love to be able to do good nails, and I can't because I get bored. So I do one layer, and it may go pretty much okay, but then I can't be bothered to wait for the next one.
This is why you have daughters. I'm good at nails. I'm not as good at makeup. I can do your nails.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, so back to the analogy that I was using so I could explain the inner ear. We're going off on a squirrel. When you are measuring things or you want something to be level, there's this like wooden thing that you see them use, or plastic thing these days, and it's got like a little bubble inside it. So when they want something to be level, they have this anyway, and it's got a little bubble inside, and they use it to balance. And when the line is straight, the bubble lines up in the middle. Anywho, well, that's like your inner ear. Okay. So your inner ear actually has like fluid inside, and it's so that you know where you are and that you're straight, kind of ish. Not the most accurate. Anywho, so your vestibular sense basically is making sure that it keeps you straight. Long story, not quite, but something like that. But when you're not balanced, so it keeps you balanced. When you're not balanced, perimenopause can make your vestibular sense go funny. And make you go dizzy and make you feel wobbly and make you bang into things. And so that in itself, so you can get very clumsy. Yeah. Do you remember that question once?
That would be another episode.
Yeah, so you can get very, I walk into things anyway because, again, ADHD, so I can forget that I'm supposed to be concentrating.
Oh, okay.
That's right. So I could be having 2 or 3 conversations in my head and listening to a song in my head.
Right.
And then forget that I'm supposed to be walking and walk into something.
Oh, right.
It's joyful.
That sounds it.
So the other day I was listening to a Lana Del Rey song in my head whilst the summer nights, da, da, da. Anyway, so I was listening to Summer Nights in my head, and I was changing the bed sheet, and I was rehearsing a conversation with Scott, and I was thinking about something we need to do with work.
Okay.
And I remember because I was thinking about those 4 things, and then I banged into the dressing table behind me. Because I already had 4 browser tabs open, so I couldn't then remember that I needed to watch where I was going. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, but so vestibular changes, and then vestibular goes off. So there's conditions like, is it Meniere's disease? Different problems like inner ear problems that you can get outside of perimenopause, and it's awful, and people complain of it a lot. You'll hear people say, I've got inner ear problems or Meniere's disease or these kind of diseases, and that it's horrible, and people really but you can get that just as almost like standard in perimenopause, and it's really, really uncomfortable. So again, that would definitely lead to nausea, and it can also lead to vestibular migraines or hormone related vertigo. Okay. Where you feel like you're falling. Grim. Okay. I'm really, really doing well today, aren't I? I'm enjoying this episode. Yeah. It's lovely. It's like, and this can go wrong, and this can go wrong.
Give me a lot to think about.
You're going to enjoy the next one then.
What?
It's called GERD. GERD. Gastro, it's like, I can never remember, it's like to do with your esophagus, and I can never remember how to say that properly, but it's like gastroesophageal, I'm going to say.
Okay.
Reflux disease.
Which is?
So it's like when your stomach acid kind of comes back up through the esophagus.
Is that when you get heartburn? Bad breath for no reason as well?
No, you get to like heartburn, and you can get nausea, and you can even get vomiting.
Right.
But basically, you can get it worse in perimenopause. Oh, yeah, but you call it GERD. GERD. I mean, it just gets exacerbated. Yeah. You can also get food sensitivities as well.
Yeah, of course you can.
Well, shits and giggles, right? So so some foods that you could tolerate, for example, before perimenopause, suddenly can now irritate your bowel, so you can get more acid reflux. You can get digestive just problems in general. So there's some foods, like I would be quite okay with onions before perimenopause, and then in perimenopause, I can't stand the smell. It can make me feel quite nauseous. Onions, yeah.
Cooked onions.
Okay with cooked, it's raw onions.
Yeah.
And some spices as well. So I'm less tolerant of chili. I'm less tolerant of just spicy food in general. Can make me feel quite acidy. And, you know, when women say to me, if you can give me some advice in perimenopause, what would you say? And I would say, look after your gut. Yeah. Because your gut just changes in general. So, but yeah, just be careful of which foods you eat and just keep a food diary. If you feel like there's something... I've done it again. I forgot to put up my mic near my... You're going to have to keep an eye on me.
Yeah. My bad.
You're bad.
Yeah. I'll take this one.
But if you just keep an eye on... If you feel like you're getting more acid reflux or you feel like you're getting digestive issues, I think it's just an important thing to just keep a food diary. Is my best bit of advice, and just make note of when you're getting acid reflux, when you're getting gastro problems, and just keep an eye on the foods and eliminate one at a time. So if you have a regular food that you eat a lot, so I eat a lot of, I don't know, I quite like, for example, vegetarian curries, because I'm eating less and less red meat. I found that eating too much red meat doesn't agree with me in perimenopause, so I try and eliminate red meat as much as I can.
It's like anything, again, trial and error with what works for you.
And you may find that things like caffeine, things that have got too much stimulants in, don't suit you as much, so you need to cut them down as well. I feel like we're going to be... Am I massively over in time? I just feel that this is such an important topic. But we're going to go way over, aren't we?
Good question, Kendra.
I know. So I'll go more quickly. Just a few more. Dehydration.
Yeah.
It can lead to nausea, thyroid function. So if you already have thyroid issue, you can get hypothyroidism in perimenopause. Liver function as well. Hormonal changes can lead to more bile production, and bile production can make digestive problems in general worse, and that can lead to nausea. You can end up being nutritionally a little bit deficient.
What do you mean?
So there's certain nutrients in perimenopause that you might find are a problem. So things, typically women in perimenopause might be deficient in things like vitamin D, some B vitamins. You might find that you just need to keep an eye on. Yeah, magnesium is one, vitamin D, some of the B vitamins. I usually say to women, top up on your omega-3s. So because you might be deficient in some nutrients, you might end up with gastrointestinal issues, and so that can lead to nausea as well. Also, this is the last one. Okay. I promise, because I feel like, no, two more. One quickly, because the thing is, honestly, it's an issue so close to my heart on the basis of I went through all of this, so that's why it's like I could probably honestly talk for another 10 minutes just on nausea. Okay, two more things. One is you're going to be hypersensitive to smells. So like you were in pregnancy, where you could smell a wet dog at 29 miles away, that's a thing as well. And the last one is if you may find that your normal exercise routine that you could do before perimenopause, afterwards you may just find that it wears your body out in a way that it didn't used to. And that might just mean that you just can't carry on with the same exercise routine, because it stresses your body out and it causes you to feel nauseous, because the stress on your body just doesn't work anymore. Yeah.
These all make sense, actually. Once you've explained them all, they do all make sense.
Okay. Sorry, I feel like I've gone full on this today, but that's just it's such an important topic.
Yeah.
And for me, it was such a big deal, because I went through it myself. So Kendra, thanks so much for your question. We really appreciate it. And as always, if you want to know anything about my perimenopause membership or book or anything, our collagen or anything like that, you will find all the details below. And if you want to ask us a question, you can WhatsApp us or you can find us in the group. All right, my darlings, thank you so much, as always, for listening, and we will speak to you soon.